got two. I want to take my solar-powered boulder puller along and the battery, and I'll get that one last log pulled out of the snowbank. It'll take a little bit to set that up, but all in the theme of working smarter, not harder. As I get older, I sure do enjoy my machines, the dog, and my solar-powered boulder lifter from a few years ago has been put to many good uses. Well, since drone man, Kevin partner Jim, or Kevin, there's nobody here, so my solar-powered boulder lifter comes to the rescue. As I look around this timber harvest area, it's pretty obvious that the larch beetle has gotten to the last of the big good tamarack that are out in this area. So I got these cut last spring just in time. There was a big one I had my eye on right down the trail here, but now I see the beetles have killed it over the summer. So drone man Dave would be happy to know that I think from now on the rest of my building projects will be using this really lightweight white cedar wood that I have so abundant here that it needs some thinning, and we got some really nice logs. I'm going to roll that last 7-foot big fat butt piece onto the wheelbarrow basin in a little bit, but I'm going to leave this log here in the full 15 feet long because it's nice and big. It makes some really nice planks. I think maybe probably going to put a high table across the back of the new guest cabin. Going to make it higher than the table in my present cabin. I put that high enough we could eat off it, but we never do that, so I'm going to put it high enough and leave a little more room for bunk space down below. I may even raise the bottom of that where I lay on the floor for people. I may bring it up just high enough we can put a storage tub underneath, and then people won't be laying directly on the floor. They'll be up a little bit. So as I sit there looking at the other cabin and walk through, tweaking it, thinking, okay, what would I do better than the cabin we have now? Just some little ideas like that might work out pretty well. But this big beast is going to lay here and dry out some more, and then I'll bring the Granberg sawmill over, and I'll lop it up right here into big thick planks for probably my new table. Well, one more log to get loaded up. This one's 16 inches across the butt end and 11 inches at the small end, so gonna make some really nice deck boards, nice and wide for the new guest cabin. Now I just gotta get it on here. Almost. far, so good. You know, it's amazing. The 100th time of doing that, I finally learned to put the big, hugest piece of the butt end up on the sled instead of dragging it, because there's always little flares at the end of that. That was always causing troubles, but little simple things like that, even those big ones, takes the pain out of it. Got back from hauling that log and just kind of sitting and having another cup of coffee, looking out the window, and realized some of my pets were getting out of hand here now. I didn't quite close that cooler up enough, and I think he's found a brat bun in there. January the 11th, 2025. That magic temperature, minus 12 centigrade, plus 12 Fahrenheit. A little bit of sun poking out, no wind. Pretty nice for my last day. Spent the morning in there cleaning, packing everything away. Just got that last load of firewood to haul in there in case I come back or a visitor stops in. They'll have all the things there ready to get a fire going real quick. Hope it's not a survival mode thing, but if that happens, it's all set up in there with a little paper, some birch bark, a little kindling, nice dry little slivers of wood to get a fire going fast. Got some feeding those birds so much extras this morning. I think I finally got them sated, so thawed out a last pound of venison burger for them. I'm sure they'll chow down on me before long, but no takers right now. But little red-breasted nuthatch was in, like he might have wanted to come in. I had one that's kind of tame the last 2 or 3 years, and as close as he came to my shoulder, I think that might have been the one. A little red squirrel checking around to see if I left any coolers cracked open for him. They'll have to start fending for themselves, so had that phone going and getting some text. Bud in South Carolina. Now Bud was up for the cabin build last fall. Well, I let him know I could contact, and he sent a message back, and of course he's down there. Well, I'm up here at the Canadian border. We got pretty decent weather. He's down there in South Carolina. He talked about walking and the snow's flying. So, but in the same note, he said, "Hey, Martin, you ever think about having invite people up and in the wintertime, and we could go out and do some projects in the snow?" Well, I told him that it wouldn't work in January. Now, with 9 hours of daylight and the possibility of dropping to 40 below while somebody was up here, that wouldn't work. But late February is a pretty sweet time to be up here in snow country. Moderate temperatures, enough snow. Wolf mating season, so sometimes they do a little more howling and a little more activity on that front. The weather's broken, so maybe we'll do that sometime, but I don't know if, but I don't know if you're really, you know, you said you were walking on the beach and the snow was flying. Well, you know, that's a little different. Up here taking a walk to Hawks Pond at 25 below zero and the snow's blowing, and walking on the beach and you see some flurries coming by, but well, might just take a little acclimatization to get a trip like that underway. Hopefully next fall, I'm going to kind of say that around October 1st, we're going to continue the work on the new guest cabin over there. We've got more logs hauled in. We've got the doors here. I've got more roof tin hauled up, enough to cover the main building so far. I do need to haul the windows up before next fall, but that shouldn't be a problem. So we're going to be ready to rock and roll on that. I don't really have any trim boards here, but we got the Granberg sawmill, and we'll just adjust that, and we'll cut out any boards we need for trimming in those doors and windows. That's not going to be a problem at all. So I'm going to, this is Saturday, I'm going to go out to a friend's house and get out of here. It's 3 miles out and a drive out of the forest. I'll get that out of the way, and I'll have supper with him tonight, spend the night there. He said he had a care package for me to take back to Illinois, so I imagine that's going to include some wild rice, maybe a few pheasants. He didn't get pheasants here, but he's a big Dakota's pheasant hunter, so a few pheasant hunters. And I hinted to him that I'd really like one of those mallard breasts that I cooked up last fall, where you got the skin on a mallard breast, and you just lay it down in a pan, no oil, and let her sear it up. That'll be special if that's in there. Out in the freezer right now. I did stay the night at Walleye Don's when I came up, and he slipped a package of walleye into my cooler, so I'm going home well supplied this time. Well, it is 12 degrees out here, and my ears are getting a little nippy, so